CBS Radio, Inc., formerly known as Infinity Broadcasting Corporation, is one of the largest owners and operators of radio stations in the United States, fourth behind main rivals iHeartMedia, Inc., Cumulus Media, and Townsquare Media. CBS Radio owns and operates 117 radio stations across the country. It is currently part of CBS Corporation, which also owns the CBS Radio and Television networks, and jointly owns the CW Television Network. Early origins. CBS Radio is one of the oldest units within CBS Corporation, and has been around since 1928. However, the actual CBS Radio network was launched in 1927, when CBS itself was known as United Independent Broadcasters. Columbia Records later joined in, and that company was renamed the Columbia Phonographic Broadcasting System. In September 1927, Columbia Records sold the company to William S. Paley, and in 1928, Paley streamlined the corporate name to Columbia Broadcasting System. History. The company that would become CBS Radio was founded in 1972 as Infinity Broadcasting Corporation by Michael A. Weiner and Gerald Caris, with the acquisition of COM, an FM radio station that served the San Francisco Bay Area. It became a publicly traded company twice, in 1986, and again in 1992. Westinghouse Electric Corporation, which acquired CBS, Inc. in 1995, acquired Infinity Broadcasting in 1997. Westinghouse, which established modern broadcasting on November 2, 1920, with KDKA in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, would later change its name to CBS Corporation, and reorganize all of its radio properties, as well as its outdoor advertising business, under the Infinity Broadcasting Corporation name. Westinghouse acquired American Radio Systems in 1997. In 1999, CBS Corporation was merged into Viacom. On December 14, 2005, Viacom changed its name to CBS Corporation and spun off its motion picture and cable television assets under the Viacom name. In anticipation of this, Infinity Broadcasting was reorganized as CBS Radio, Streaming Radio. Until late 2004, the stations were not allowed to stream their programs online. WCBS-AM was the first station able to stream their content over the Internet, shortly followed by other news and talk stations. Company officials originally thought that there was no profit to be made from streaming. Recent actions. In August 2006, CBS Radio announced the sale of its 15 radio stations in Cincinnati, Ohio, Memphis, Tennessee, Austin, Texas, and Rochester, New York, to Entercom Communications. This group deal was granted FCC approval in mid-November 2007 after it faced regulatory review and numerous challenges for over a year, and officially closed on November 30. Several other stations, most in smaller markets, have also been sold to companies like Border Media Partners and Peak Media Corporation. On April 30, 2008, CBS Radio and AOL entered a partnership. The AOL radio player powered by CBS Radio features over 200 CBS radio stations, along with over 200 AOL radio stations, combining two of the largest online radio networks and giving millions of listeners unlimited and free access to a diverse array of music and programming including news, sports and talk. These stations have been folded into the AOL radio application seen in the iTunes App Store for availability on the iPhone, iPod Touch, iPad. On July 31, 2008, CBS Radio has announced that it will sell 50 more radio stations in 12 mid-size markets to increase its focus on stations in large markets such as Greater Los Angeles. Houston, Chicago metropolitan area, Dallas, Fort Worth, New York City, San Francisco Bay Area, Greater Philadelphia, and Detroit metropolitan area. It is reported that KMOX in St. Louis and KDKA in Pittsburgh are not included in the 50 radio station sale. However, some companies like RBC Capital Markets said CBS Radio is a melting ice cube, and that CBS Corporation would be better off selling the entire radio unit rather than waiting a couple of years and selling the rest for less. On December 15, 2008, CBS Radio and Clear Channel Communications reached an agreement to swap 7 stations. In this deal, Clear Channel acquired WQSR in Baltimore, Maryland, KBKS in Seattle, Washington, KLTH and KXJM in Portland, Oregon, and KQJK in Sacramento, California, and CBS Radio would get KHMX and KLOL in Houston, Texas. The swap was among the first examples of CBS Radio's strategy to divest its mid-sized market stations and focus on the larger markets. The deal closed on April 1, 2009. On December 20, 2008, CBS Radio announced that it would sell the entire Denver cluster to Wilkes Broadcasting for $19.5 million. This is another example of CBS Radio's strategy to divest its mid-sized market stations and focus on the larger markets. The stations included in the sale are KIMN, KWLI, and KXKL. In February 2009, with the rise of Internet royalty rates, Yahoo made a deal with CBS Radio to power Launchcast. On August 10, 2009, CBS Radio announced that it would sell the entire Portland cluster to Alpha Broadcasting for $40 million. The stations included in the sale are KCMD, KINK, KUFO, and KUPL-FM. On February 4, 2010, all CBS radio stations, as well as AL Radio and Yahoo Music Radio, have restricted all non-US listeners from streaming online content. CBS Radio redirects to sister property Last.fm. 2011 saw the biggest AC format removal of the company, dropping AC for Hot Adult Contemporary on Washington, D.C.'s WIAD in March, followed by New York City's WWFS on October 12. On August 1, WCFS-FM Chicago removed its AC format for all news to simulcast WBBM-AM. By November 2011, WLTE in Minneapolis, St. Paul removed the AC format for Christmas music, only to transition to country music as KMNB on December 26. As of October 2011, AL Radio is no longer a part of Radio.com, having switched to Slacker Radio. On April 9, 2012, CBS Radio announced that it was selling its West Palm Beach cluster of stations to Palm Beach Broadcasting for $50 million. On June 28, 2012, Yahoo is no longer a part of Radio.com, having switched to iHeartRadio. On September 11, 2014, President, CEO of CBS Les Moonves discusses the possibility of selling a few more of its radio clusters, mostly in smaller markets. On December 1, 2014, CBS Radio traded 14 stations, its Charlotte, North Carolina and Tampa Bay clusters as well as WIP in Philadelphia, to Beasley Broadcast Group in exchange for WRDW-FM and WXTU in Philadelphia and WKIS, WPOW, and WQAM in Miami, Howard Stern and Free FM. For more details on this topic, see The Howard Stern Show and Free FM. From 1985 to 2005, Infinity, CBS Radio was the home of controversial and top-rated talk show host Howard Stern, who left due to increasing FCC and station censorship. In January 2006, rock star David Lee Roth, Rover's Morning Glory, and talk show host Adam Carolla replaced Stern in most major radio markets, and CBS Radio launched its new, free FM Hot Talk format in many of these markets. Roth's show was cancelled 4 months later, and CBS Radio announced that Opie and Anthony of XM Radio would replace Roth on the stations that carried him, despite the irony that the two were fired after the sex act controversy inside of St. Patrick's Cathedral, New York. Adam Carolla's show was also later cancelled. On February 28, 2006, CBS Radio announced it had filed a lawsuit against Stern, his agent John Buchwald, and Sirius, arguing that Stern promoted Sirius to enrich himself unfairly. It also claimed that Stern repeatedly and willfully breached his contract with CBS, misappropriated millions of dollars worth of airtime for his own benefit, and fraudulently concealed his performance-related interests in Sirius stock. The suit, filed in New York State Court, sought compensatory and punitive damages. Stern anticipated the suit, and earlier that day, prior to CBS' announcement, held a press conference discussing how CBS added to the media attention, even booking him for appearances on Late Show with David Letterman and 60 Minutes. "I made them millions of dollars," Stern argued. "If I was hurting them, why did they keep me on the air for 14 months? How can you have it both ways?" When a settlement was announced on May 26, 2006, Sirius gained exclusive rights to Stern's back catalog of radio broadcasts at WXRK from November 1985 to December 2005, totaling almost 23,000 hours. The rights, costing Sirius approximately $2 million, equates to approximately $87 per hour of tape. As of 2009 update, the free FM branding has been discontinued in all markets, and no former free FM station continues to have a hot talk format. Jack FM. CBS Radio owns the majority of stations in the United States that broadcast the Jack FM format, a radio format that incorporates all types of popular music from the mid-50s to the present. These include stations in Los Angeles, Dallas, Seattle, Minneapolis and many other cities. New York, Chicago and Houston had Jack FM stations, too. The New York City station, WCBS-FM, has reverted to its traditional oldies format, and Jack was carried on its HD2 subchannel. Major League Baseball. CBS Radio is the largest broadcaster of local Major League Baseball broadcasts. In 2005 and 2007 respectively, CBS dropped the St. Louis Cardinals from KMOX and the Pittsburgh Pirates from KDKA, ending two long relationships between the teams and their flagship stations. However, KMOX reacquired the Cardinals' broadcast rights in 2011, and KDKA's FM sister All Sports station acquired the Pirates' broadcast rights in 2012. In addition to New York Yankees games being renewed on WCBS-AM after the conclusion of the 2011 season, they would have the rights until the end of the 2013 season. CBS's WFAN is the flagship station of the New York Yankees, and WSCR is the flagship station of the Chicago White Sox. In Philadelphia, WPHT, a frequency that had been the longtime home of the Philadelphia Phillies before parting ways after the 2001 season, reacquired the team's broadcast rights in 2005. As of 2012, those games are now simulcast on sister station WIP-FM. KRLD-FM in Dallas was the flagship station for the Texas Rangers before the 2011 season. In 2015, the Chicago Cubs will move its radio broadcasts to CBS property WBBM from its longtime home of WGN. That same year, the Baltimore Orioles will begin its second stint on All Sports WJZ-FM. 4 years after it was moved back to its traditional home of WBAL. All news radio stations. CBS Radio operates nearly all of the all-news radio stations in the United States. They include KCBS in San Francisco, KNX in Los Angeles, KRLD in Dallas, WBBM in Chicago, WWJ in Detroit, KYW in Philadelphia, WCBS and WINS in New York, WNEW-FM in Washington, D.C., WBZ in Boston. CBS Altitude Group. The CBS Altitude Group manages advertising sales for CBS Radio. It was founded in 2003 by Richard LaBelle and David Goodman. CBS Altitude Group clients include Allstate, AT&T, Bank of America, Bermuda, Coca-Cola, DIRECTV, Dodge Ram, Fiat, Fidelity Investments, General Motors, Jeep, Lionsgate, MasterCard, PNC Financial Services, Roku, Sears, Showtime, Sony, Truvia, University of Phoenix, Walgreens, Walmart, Wendy's and YP. In 2011, CBS Altitude Group was awarded a W3 Silver Award by the International Academy of Visual Arts for their work with their Meet the Bermudians campaign.